Sedimentary or rock, sedimentary or rock, a system. Now the first and foremost one, what's the first and foremost blueprint? Definition, or as simple as that, about. It can also be about, or I can say a definition. Now, what do you mean by sedimentary rocks? Sedimentary is nothing but a settling. Sedimentary is nothing but settling, or I can say a layer, or I can say a stratification. Sedimentary is nothing but a stratification, layers and layers. Or I can say it is a Latin term. It is a Latin term, nothing but the settling of the rock pieces. Settling of the rock pieces. Either it can be igneous or it can be metamorphic. Either it can be igneous, metamorphic, or sedimentary itself from other sedimentary rocks. Other sedimentary rock. Exactly, Sanjeev. Made up of a sediments, or I can say a settling, or lithification, or layering, or strata. Ella same. Formation of layers, or I can say the strata. Or I can say the strata. Done? Yes or no? Settling by the erosion. No. How it happens? Second major important blueprint. What's the second one? It is the process. The second major one is the process. The second major one is the process. Yes, this sedimentary rocks undergoes four different processes. The first and foremost process. Is the erosion and transportation. Erosion and the transportation. First and foremost one. Understand this. Erosion and the transportation. Erosion and transportation. First, understand this. Now we already have our igneous rock. This we call it as a fundamental rock. This fundamental rock. This rock, due to exposure to different natural factors. Due to natural factors like water in the chemical reaction, by the impact of the organisms, biological reactions. Biology from living organisms also, it will undergo erosion. Third one, mechanical process also, due to expansion as well as contraction due to increase in temperature. Yes or no? Bisil bidbekadre, it will heat up, expand agate. Chali adagena contracts. Yes or no? Obviously, due to the impact of various natural factors like wind, like the oceans, like rivers. Due to the different factors, this rocks, or I can say this peripheral one, gets eroded, or I can say gets broken down. After erosion. What will happen? After erosion, due to the transportation factors. This eroded materials are being transported. From which region? From the region A to the region B. From the region A to region B. Hope you're getting. The first and foremost one will be the erosion and the transportation. How erosion takes place? Erosion happens via three different processes. One is major, one is via natural factors. Natural factors which includes a temperature, variation in temperature, variation in pressure, variation in a magnetic force, variation ilagada. Followed by the second one, it can be chemical reaction with respect to atmosphere, with the gases present in atmosphere, or the water content, moisture content in the reaction agate. With all this reaction, obviously, are the fundamental rock, I can say. Major igneous rock. It can be sedimentary rock, it can be metamorphic rock also, which undergoes erosion. After erosion ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? The different particles are being formed, or different rock materials, smaller rock materials, and this rock materials are being transported from a particular region or the eroded region to the settling region. To the settling region via what process? It can be via wind. It can be via wind. It can be via a rivers. It can be via rivers, or I can say it can be via the biological organisms also. It can be via the biological organisms also, which transports from a particular eroded region to you can see a deposited region. Exactly, Mamta, it is the wind, water, and the glaciers. Again, glaciers is nothing but again water, Allah. Glaciers are nothing but water, a solidified or solid form of water we call it as a glaciers. Done. Highly important one. Understand the first and the foremost one, that is erosion and transportation. The second major important processes are after transportation ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? It will deposit in a particular region. After a carrying agent ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? It will deposit. It will deposit. Nothing but the second major important, the process we call it as a deposition. We call it as a deposition. It will deposit. After deposit, what will happen? After deposition, the compaction will take place. Nothing but compression. Compression. Why there will be a compression? Why there will be after deposition? After a deposition, what will happen? The third one here is the compaction. What do you mean by compaction? Compaction is nothing but via a natural factors. It undergoes or which exerts a pressure on this rocks. Pressure on this rocks which leads to a compression of the rock system. Compression of the rock system. Compression of rock system, we call it as the compaction. During this compaction process, what will happen? The formation of layers will happen. The formation of the rocks based on different composition. But the first one, it was this first time, second compaction, third compaction, fourth, fifth, sixth. We call it as a lithification process. Lithification. What do you mean by lithification? Lithification is nothing but the formation of the layers. The formation of the layers, or I can say the formation of the stratas. Formation of a stratus. Formation of the stratus. Formation of the stratus. The last one, the fourth process, we call it as the cementation. Now, what do you mean by cementation? What do you mean by the cementation? Nothing but cementation andre no, the filling the gaps. Cementation andre no, filling the gaps. Filling the gaps which are present in our rock system. We call it as our, you can say, a cementation. Sedimentary formation, or the formation of sedimentary rock, which undergoes the four different processes. The first and foremost one is our erosion and our transportation. First and foremost one. Why and how erosion takes place? Why and how? Because of various factors. It can be natural process or it can be artificial process. After erosion, what will happen? After erosion, via different, you can say, unnatural factors. Via the different natural factors against or towards the gravity. Is it towards the gravity, or I can say against gravity? Towards gravity, the different natural factors will act. Nothing but the water, nothing but the wind, nothing but glaciers will lead to formation, or I can say a transportation of materials from A to B. And after transportation, what will happen? Deposition will take place. Deposition in the form of layer by layer, layer by layer. First time erosion agirdo transport agate layer, second layer, third layer. Illi nodi layers increase ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. First layer ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ obviously it will undergo a compaction followed by a cementation. Compaction and a cementation. This is the four major important process which occurs with respect to our sedimentary rock. With respect to our sedimentary rock. Illi nodi layers. First layer, the B layer, C, D, E layer. Now, out of this A to E, which layer is the oldest layer? It is A. A layer is the oldest layer, the first deposited layer. Can we surely say that this is the oldest one? Anta? Every time, can we say it is the oldest one? Obviously, we can't say. Obviously, we can't say. Deposit okay. If this deposited one undergoes a remodification, ಇದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಎರಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೆಡಿಮೆಂಟರಿ ಆದ್ರೆ obviously ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. We can't every time say that is the old, you can say oldest one ಅಂತ, oldest layer. Yes or no? Yes, this is highly important one. ಇಲ್ಲಿ most important one here is does they contain fossils? Can be anything alva. Via the process or via the transportation, it can also carry n number of the natural agents or n number of natural objects as well. The dead and decayed, the plants and animals can also be carried, and it can undergo compaction and cementation. Compaction and cementation can take place. How do you know? Yes, highly important one. Highly important one. Highly important one. It is called as the lithification process or layering of the rocks, and which also contains the fossils. And based on this, sediments are rich in the different fuel minerals like coal, petrol, etc. Done? Clear? Okay, now this is about the second major important one with respect to our sedimentary rock. Sedimentary rock one. What is our third major important? The third one is the types of the sedimentary rocks. Now, sedimentary rocks is of three types. The sedimentary rocks is of three types. One is a mechanically formed. One is our mechanically formed sedimentary rock. Mechanically formed sedimentary rock. Second one, biologically formed one. It can also be chemical. The second one, it is our biologically formed. The last one is the chemically formed. Formed a sedimentary rock. Chemically formed a sedimentary rock. Exactly, Bhageshri, following. Now, what is our subblueprinting? Subblueprinting, definition and examples. Definition and examples. Definition and our examples. Now, what do you mean by a mechanically formed sedimentary rocks? That is, sedimentary rock has been formed via mechanical process. Via mechanical process. So, what mechanical process? Like mechanical energy, via kinetic energy. If the sedimentary rock has been formed via the different physical aspects or mechanical processes, we call it as a mechanically sedimentary rock. If that sedimentary rock has been formed via the action of our living organisms, we call it as biological one. Like coral reefs, like plants, like animals. If the sedimentary rock has been formed through a process of chemical reaction, we call it as a chemically formed sedimentary rock.